Hello. Today we're going to talk about 222. You've seen this number around a whole bunch. I've been making numbers videos lately. You might go to the videos section on my YouTube channel here. I think I just did one for 333. Yeah, I think I did 333 and 999. I got one somewhere back there talking about 1111, and there's even a law of attraction power numbers video where I talk about what happens when you see like multiple numbers like 222, 333, and 444. So go check them out, guys. Guys, the universe communicates in ways other than words. I don't think I have to tell you that, right? Numbers is a big one, you guys. Synchronicities. And that's what these numbers are. So they're not just, it's not like a separate category from like a synchronicity. That's what the numbers are. And after we talk about the meaning of 222, I'm going to get into like why that happens and what you can do to make numbers happen. Serious. Guys, you're a creator. You're a master. You're a master and you might not realize it yet, right? Because the thing is, when you're getting these numbers like this, you are lit and you're lighting up the universe. That's exactly what you're doing. You're literally like exciting the mental universe. That's why I'm using this background today, because this is real technology, guys. And by the way, this is where modern physics is going. We're going to talk about this. This law of attraction stuff, this manifesting, it is real, but you just have to know how to do it, right? And a lot of people, maybe they saw some stuff on the internet and it's not really working out for them. We're going to cut through all that, you guys, in today's video. I got some goodies for you. Like what is it? Like what is the secret that makes this shit work, right? I've been teaching this to people for a long, long time, my friends. This YouTube channel is new, but I'm on other platforms. I've coached thousands of spiritual students, and I use this every day, guys, to build my life and to build my businesses, law of attraction, taking vacations, all this kind of cool stuff. All right, let's get into the meaning of this number. Why are you seeing this number around, right? Why do I keep seeing it? What does it mean? Is there a meaning for it? And of course, the answer is yes. So 222 basically is having to do with balance or relationships, okay? So you could be at a crossroads, all right? So think of it this way. Think of two this way. 222 or just two. Think of it as like a fork in the road or a partnership, right? So in other words, you're at this crossroads, you've been walking down a path, and then you come to this crossroads and you can go this way or this way, right? Or something is being brought into balance, can represent two, or again, relationship, diplomacy, right? Duality, diplomacy, and overall, I think the theme that you're starting to understand here is duality. So two-ness, if you will. And it might sound like I'm being a little, well, maybe not, but some people might think, this sounds a little too generic. There's nothing like hard and fast about these number meanings. Every time I watch another one of these YouTube gurus, and I'm just another guy doing the same kind of thing. Well, that's true. Like you're not going to get a hard and fast definition like, oh, the number two means, or 222, it means you're going to manifest the lover that you've always wanted next Tuesday at 4 p.m. There's not a hard and fast definition. So you got to think in terms of the metaphorical meaning when you're trying to do these number interpretations, okay? So again, two, it could be relationship. So like the two of cups tarot card, right? And a lot of people, they think that the lovers tarot card is like the romance and relationship tarot card. It can be, but it's really more about like choices, because the art on the lovers tarot card is based on the story of Adam and Eve in the Bible, obviously. And they had some choices to make, didn't they? So this two of cups, this is like more of a like romantic relationship card or a partnership. So it's got a man and a woman, and they're in love, right? So two, that's obvious. That's like an obvious thing that the number two could be talking about, 222. But again, it could also be a choice, making one of two choices, which I mean, that is true. That is what is being depicted on this card here, right? And it's card number 6, which is 3 twos, 222, the lovers, right? See that card number 6? It's number 6 in the major arcana, which is 3 twos, 222. So choices, um, choosing between two paths or something that's been out of balance is being brought into balance, fairness, equality, these types of things, equilibrium between two opposing forces. Okay, so it is kind of an abstract. Every time you do one of these number meaning videos, it is very what you're going to get is abstract. It is very abstract. But again, look at it metaphorically like that. Now, let's talk about why this is happening. And we'll talk about the technology of it. Oh, I got some good stuff for you guys today, man. So, you are consciousness. You think that you are a mind. That's what everybody on earth thinks. And this is the part about law of attraction that I hit really hard. And I think that's why I've been so successful as a coach. 7,000 students, you guys. It's amazing. So, how did I do it? Well, you are consciousness. That's the core. That's the key to everything, guys, right? So, all the law of attraction teachers that you've ever watched, after what I'm about to tell you here, all the stuff that they've been telling you for all these years, it should start to make a lot of sense now. And that's kind of one of these things where they don't really talk about it a lot like I do. Consciousness, right? They don't talk about it a lot like I do. And they're not doing that because they're trying to like pull a fast one on you. All of the law of attraction gurus that you see on the internet, they do know what they're talking about. They are very good. I've never had a problem with any of them. They're awesome. But I wish they would spend more time on consciousness. I think that would help. But you'll still hear them talk about it sometimes. Like Esther Hicks, she's always talking about, yeah, you got to meditate. Aaron Abkey, is it Aaron Abkey? Yeah, Aaron Abkey, he's talking about, yeah, being is kind of the root of all this, but they just kind of mention it in passing. Well, I hit it a lot, you guys, because this is everything. 80 to 90% of your manifesting game is your Zen game. People don't realize how fundamental this is, right? So you are body, mind, soul, right? So let's talk real quick about these things. What are these three things? Body, mind, and soul. What are they? So the body, we're pretty clear what that is. The mind, okay, the mind. Thoughts, emotions, metaphysical energy, right? And it works on a system of duality. So that's kind of what the yin and yang symbol is about. That's one of the things that it represents. This whole universe is one of duality. Okay. Excuse me. And Albert Einstein, the term he came up to describe this is relativity. So opposites, we are relative. This is relative to that. But the ancient mystics just called it duality, yin and yang, light and dark, good and bad, this and that, here and there, bigger and smaller, right? Or the mind, I feel good, I feel bad, right? Positive, negative emotions. I agree, I disagree. So concept, thought, emotion, this type of stuff. Okay. So that's the mind. It's metaphysical. Now, the soul is basically consciousness. There's a little bit of information in there, but primarily it's like a wave of probabilities. You think like the double slit experiment. And here, I'll tell you what, I'll put a couple of videos for you about that down below because I want to show you this is real. That's what I'm trying to do here today, right? So in the double slit experiment, what physicists observed was that you can have a particle like an electron or a photon or something like that, right? You have a particle that can be seemingly in one place or all places simultaneously. And you're like, what? How can that? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to them either, but it's starting to. That was over 100 years ago when they first observed this, the double slit experiment, where you have a particle that looks like a particle and a wave at the same time. I'm serious. So I'll put those two links down below. The double slit experiment. Let me make a note so I don't forget to do that. Um, so what they've come to after over 100 years of trying to figure this thing out, and then considering like the Higgs field, quantum field theory, higher planes of existence and this kind of thing, they've demonstrated that that's real too, right? That's what the Large Hadron Super Collider in France and Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken. It's so big, it goes between two countries. That's what they were able to demonstrate is that, yeah, there really are these higher planes of existence. So wait a minute. Maybe the reason, because here's the weird thing about the double slit experiment too, other than what I just already told you, it's also as if the particles know where they're supposed to go ahead of time. Like one particle will land on the screen because it knows that other particles are going to land in certain spaces on the screen later. Like, how does it know that? I know that sounds weird, but that's what physicists have observed. Like, that's really what is going on. Like, how can it know that? Well, it's because there's information coming from a higher quantum plane, you guys, which again, they've proven that that exists. So there's a new theory, and this is actually not that new. It's being validated by modern uh, physics. Here, I'm writing that down too. So I'm going to put another link down below for you from Scientific American. It's a scientific journal. Um, and in this article, they admit, yeah, information realism, that seems to be where things are going. Now, you can tell the author isn't crazy about it. He has kind of a salty attitude when he writes the article, but he does admit, yeah, this is where science is going, and you're not stopping this. Well, why have a salty attitude about it, dude? This is the great um, mashup between information science and material science, and so maybe he's a material scientist, and they tend to not like stuff that seems to prove the existence of God. Okay, so we're going to come back to the number 222, right? They don't really like that stuff. Things that seem to prove that we live in an intelligent universe that is actually interacting with us and you can interact back with it. They don't like that, but they have to admit it's real. So they basically, what scientists are saying is we think information is fundamental in our universe. And what comes before information is consciousness. So again, body, mind, soul. The universe is the same. You got physical objects in the universe, right? Like planets and stars and stuff like that, right? Okay. And then you've got the mental universe, which is this information where physical matter seems to actually phase in and out of what we think of as reality from this plane of information, this field of information. And so when we say information, we're talking about mind. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put two more videos down below for you. Greg Chaitin and Lothar. And Greg Chaitin, he's like a world-renowned mathematician. He works with all the best physicists, scientists. He's way up there. He's got all these accolades. Lothar Schäfer, same thing. Greg Chaitin, he's going to tell the interviewer flat out, the universe is mind. And he's not kidding. And he's also not just some guy. And I know they don't teach this to people in schools, right? That's kind of a problem. They don't teach people where science is really headed right now. So you probably don't know who Greg Chaitin is or Lothar Schäfer, but these are top shelf physicists and mathematicians, you guys. Okay? And they're telling you that the universe is mind. And then the video that I'm going to put for you from Lothar Schäfer, it's actually an interview that he did with Eckhart Tolle, of all people. And so the video, you might want to go about halfway into the into the video because Eckhart talks about a few things for about half the video, and then Lothar comes out and they talk for the rest of the video. Really fascinating stuff, guys. Really cool time to be alive. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. The universe is actually a living creature, okay? And the whole thing came from consciousness. What's the saying? I got this from Robert Lawrence Kuhn. He said, to seek ultimate reality is to follow explanations until explanations end. Consciousness is fundamental and irreducible. If we follow explanations until explanations end, we find consciousness. And again, the soul is basically that. It's basically consciousness. It's like 99% consciousness. And that's who you really are beyond the mind. See, you believe yourself to be a mind. You believe yourself to be a personality. Like if I walked up to you on the street and I said, "Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Who are you?" You're going to tell me like a story. You're going to tell me a history. You're going to tell me what you do for a living and what your beliefs are and maybe where you've traveled and what your politics are and stuff like that, right? But that's all concept. And that's who we believe ourselves to be. We believe ourselves to be this ego mind personality entity, but that's not who you are. That's really just a spacesuit, right? Who you really are is the consciousness, and it is that consciousness that is so fundamental here when it comes to manifesting. So let me now switch gears and we'll talk about that. So I talk about this a lot on this channel, like how you're actually, like when you are manifesting, you are actually using consciousness to reprogram your own mental spacesuit that you're wearing, the ego mind. Think of it like a mask, and you get to design it however you want. And however you design the mask, whatever you make it into, that's what the universe matches. So again, your body, mind, soul. The universe is also, again, body, mind, soul, physical reality, mental, the mental plane, the universe, the higher mind, and then the source, right? Or the Bible called it the Father, right? Which again, that's that consciousness that the whole physical and metaphysical universe sprang from. It's that non-dual being. It's that oneness, right? And actually, the way when you look at like the root of genuine spiritualism, the philosophy there is exactly in alignment. It's the same thing as what physicists call the singularity or the Big Bang. It's the same thing. I'm serious. And they're exactly the same thing. And so spiritual teachers that have been teaching this kind of stuff for thousands of years, they look at the modern scientific endeavor and they're like, well, cool, guys. Glad you finally figured out, but we've been talking about this for a long time. Nice of you to join us, right? So when you are getting these numbers from the world around you, it's because the universe is a living being and it's interacting with you. It's communicating with you. And this is another thing, like God has become a dirty word in today's world because of what religion has done with it, right? And I don't have any problem with religion. I think there's those of you that are probably watching who are religious that know what I'm talking about. There's good and bad religions, of course. So I'm not here to knock any of them or judge. But yeah, like that's kind of why people don't like to use that word. And so you'll hear people say the universe, the universe, the universe. But I don't like that either because it just sounds like a dead clump of stardust, the universe. Guys, the universe is a living thing called God. Hermes Trismegistus called it the all, and that's what I like to call it sometimes too. So it's interacting with you. And again, when you are on one of these like leveling up kind of cycles in your life where you seem to be more awake and more aware, that's usually when you get those numbers, isn't it? Right, because consciousness is the causative force. The observer effect is something that, again, in the double slit experiment, I'm going to put those two videos down below for you. The observer effect is basically like you're measuring or being aware of the wave. That's when it collapses into a dense particle. So consciousness seems to be what actually causes things to manifest. And it really is. Thoughts and emotions, those are things, but that's not really what causes things to show up in your reality. It's the focus that you put on them. So that's why I'm always telling, like my coaching students, 80 to 90% of your manifesting game is your Zen game. You got to pour a lot into that, you guys. Resources before I let you go today. There's also my free quick start guide that I'll link down below for you. It's just a 20-minute YouTube video called How to Get the Law of Attraction to Work, right? How do I get that to start working? And I talk about those kind of fundamentals of consciousness and how to start doing that. Like what kind of lifestyle changes would I be making to do that? And then there's, of course, also my paid coaching. There's a link down below for that. It's very affordable, super affordable. I even have payment plans. It's over 40 hours long, and we keep giving you videos every 6 months for about a year. And then you get to talk to me on some group calls. So check that out if you're interested. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.